most of the insecticides examples which you have named, most of them has is proposed to be banned by the government. Maybe all the 27 pesticides may not be banned immediately, but maybe after 2025 or 2030, we won't be able to see many of these organophosphates pesticides being used in agriculture. So, organophosphates, it is a group which was invented during the Second World War mainly because of its high mammalian toxicity. As I already told you, it was used in as a chemical warfare, and it was used as a nerve gas. I told you regarding the gas chambers, which was operated during the time of Hitler and all, and it was developed in Germany by the major part of the work was done. The earlier work was done in Germany by Gerhard Schrader, and there was a molecule called Schraden, SCHRADA. We don't usually teach it because it was not recommended in agriculture because it was an extremely toxic chemical, and it was named after this scientist Gerhard Schrader, and it is a highly poisonous in nature. That's why people used to consume OP insecticides for committing suicide. Another typical factor with organophosphates is that they are extremely persistent in the environment. If you see another example, you have not given the example of forate. Forate is a granular pesticide which is extremely persistent in the environment. If you might not have studied, when we studied BSc agriculture, the pesticide recommended for management of pseudostem weevil and rhizome, banana pseudostem weevil and rhizome weevil was forate and carbofuran. And if we go for the application of forate or carbofuran in the pits or leaf axils of banana, it used to protect the crop for about 75 days. That means about 2.5 months we won't get any insect infestation. And these were the pesticides which we normally used for the management of red palm weevil and rhinoceros beetle. Because again, it used to be stable in the crown. So but it doesn't have the persistence of organochlorines. Organochlorines are extremely persistent, which remain in the environment for years together. But organophosphates, not all organophosphates are persistent. Take the case of malathion. Malathion hardly persists. Malathion persists hardly for 2 to 3 days. That's why we use it for vegetable pest. And dichlorivos, another organophosphorus pesticide, it hardly persists for 24 hours. So not all organophosphates are persistent, but uh, uh, certain organophosphates are persistent. So chemically unstable means compared to other organochlorines, these are unstable. It's not that much stable, but compared to newer molecules, say synthetic pyrethroids or neonicotinoids or diamides and all, this is comparatively stable and persistent. So this thing, it's a bit comparative in nature. Compared to organochlorines, it is unstable and non-persistent, but compared to other pesticide molecules, pesticide groups, certain molecules are persistent and stable, relatively stable in the environment. Another typical feature with insecticides is that this organophosphorus insecticides is that it is extremely broad spectrum activity. That means we have organophosphorus insecticides group molecules as insecticides, and we have certain organophosphorus insecticides which have acariciidal property. Can you give any example of a organophosphorus insecticide having acariciidal property? Dimethoate, yes. Then fungicidal activity. Any OP insecticide having fungicidal activity? Have you studied about a fungicide termed as edifenfos? Its trade name is Inosan. It's not widely used now. Earlier, this edifenfos was one of the most widely used fungicide in rice. Yes, pyrosophos. Yes. Okay. Then what about organophosphorus herbicide? It's an extremely common herbicide. Belongs to organophosphorus. No, parathion is an insecticide. No, glyphosate. Ah, yes, Rahul has correctly answered. Glyphosate. Glyphosate is a herbicide belonging to the organophosphorus group, which is having herbicidal activity. And can you name a nematicide? Yes, Roundup. Yes. Can you name a nematicide? We don't have very good nematicides since as most of the OP insecticides are banned now. For it, yes, good. So this group, organophosphorus group is having diverse activity. Insecticidal, acaricidal, fungicidal, herbicidal, nematicidal activity. So whatever it may be, in plant protection, it is widely used. Another thing is that it is having contact, systemic, and fumigant activity. We normally say synthetic pyrethroids that is having only contact activity, and for diamides we rarely have systemic property. It doesn't have that much systemic property. Fumigant activity, other than dichlorose, we don't have much insecticides which is having fumigant activity. So OP insecticides has diverse property. It's relatively stable compared to other molecules, but unstable compared to organochlorine and non-persistent compared to organochlorines. And another typical feature character of an organophosphorus pesticide is offensive odor. Have you ever handled acephate in your any for when while you are in any course or any field, or have you handled acephate? If you have handled acephate, it is extremely having an extremely bad odor. It is very difficult. If you are in rice, we used to recommend acephate for management of it. Acephate is mainly recommended for managing pests in acephate. If we advise farm laborers to go for spraying acephate, they usually refuse to go spray acephate because it's having an extreme offensive odor. We can't stand the smell. So that is one typical. Almost all the OP insecticides are having very offensive odor. That is typical feature of OP insecticides. So if we say it is a highly toxic pesticide, it is an acute poison, but compared to organochlorines, it's unstable and non-persistent. But compared to certain other groups, it's relatively stable. Especially certain molecules are unstable, and is having insecticidal, fungicidal, acaricidal, herbicidal, and nematicidal properties. It is having contact, systemic, and fumigant activity, and it is having very offensive odor. So, if you see the advantages of OPs, one thing is it is broad spectrum activity. That means once I was taking a class for farmers with all for the regarding management of pests in rice. So after completing, so we now if we are taking a training class for farmers, we usually recommend farmers to use flubendiamide or chlorantraniliprole for the management of lepidopteran pests. For the management of sucking pests like BPH, we recommend imidacloprid or thiamethoxam. So diverse group for Hispa and blue beetle, we use recommend another group of insecticide. So we recommend different pesticides for different group of insecticides. But once I completed the class, an old farmer told me that, sir, it is very difficult to remember all these names of insecticides what you are told. It was easy to cultivate rice earlier because if we had nuacron and dimacron, it used to take care of all the insects. Whatever be the insect, it will be taken care of by nuacron and dimacron. Nuacron is nothing but monocrotophos, dimacron is nothing but phosphoamidon. Both are organophosphorus pesticide, extremely toxic, red-labeled insecticide, but it is having broad spectrum. If it is leaf folder, stem borer, BPH, leaf opus, whatever it may be, If you go for a spray of phosphamidone or monocrotophos, it used to control. But now, if you want to control temporarily folder, go for flubendiamide or chlorantraniliprole. If you have BPH, go for thiamethoxam. So different pesticide, we have to use different insects. We have to use different insecticide. But earlier, we had insecticide which used to control almost all the insects. But there is a disadvantage for that type of broad spectrum insecticide, because if you use broad spectrum insecticides, can you name what is the disadvantage? Can you give what is the disadvantage of a broad spectrum insecticide? Say why we don't prefer to go for broad spectrum insecticides. Say acephate, it's a broad spectrum insecticide, but we normally recommend farmers to go for flubendiamide or chlorantraniliprole for the management of caterpillar pests in rice. Why we don't go for a broad spectrum insecticide such as acephate in rice? Kills beneficial insects too. Yes, exactly. So that's the major drawback with broad spectrum insecticide, and it is having high insecticidal and acaricidal activity. Acaricidal property earlier. I completed my UG in 2001, and during we had an extensive field visits during our final year as part of coursework. We conducted almost about 9 to 10 agro clinics during our final year program. But now we didn't see any mite damage in the field. But nowadays, if you see any vegetable field, especially in summer, you will be familiar with red spider mite damage, and you will be familiar with the symptoms of red spider mite infestation in any crop. So mite infestation is becoming more and more severe for the past 8 to 10 years. And one reason could be because of the withdrawal of most of the organophosphates. Because earlier organophosphates was one of the major group of pesticides which we used for managing insects in many crops. And these organophosphates are having acaricidal properties. And now we shifted to other group of pesticides, say neonicotinoids. It doesn't have any acaricidal property at all. Synthetic pyrethroids doesn't have any acaricidal property at all. Diamides doesn't have any acaricidal property. So, if we are using other insecticides which doesn't have any acaricidal property, slowly mites become problematic. So, that is one advantage of OP. It is having acaricidal property, low persistence. Certain molecules have a bit relatively higher persistence, systemic activity that we told. Can you name a few organophosphates with systemic activity? Systemic organophosphorus pesticides. No one. What about dichlorose? No, dichlorose doesn't have any systemic property. Dichlorose, dimethoid, yes, Risha is correct. Dimethoid. Roger is having systemic property. What wow, the earlier insecticides, phosphamidone, monocrotophos has systemic property. Forate is having systemic property. Yes, excellent. So several we will see a few which is having systemic properties. And there is no bioaccumulation. That is a character of organochlorines. It doesn't have bioaccumulation, so it's comparatively safe. And low dose per unit area. Don't think about the dose of synthetic pyrethroids or neonicotinoid. Neonicotinoid we recommend it at the rate of 3 ml per 10 liter. That is for imidacloprid. For organophosphates, we usually recommend it at the rate of 500 to 1000 gram active ingredient per hectare. But that is lower compared to organochlorines. Organochlorines we used to recommend at the rate of 1500 to 2000 gram active ingredient per hectare. So compared to organochlorines, the requirement of pesticide per unit area is low, but if the advent of new generation molecules, again the requirement has brought down significantly, and it is easily detoxified in animal tissues. It doesn't persist. That's why it is in organochlorines. It tends to accumulate in fat bodies, but here it doesn't accumulate in any fat bodies. It gets easily detoxified in animal tissues. So these are the properties and advantages of OPACE and all the organophosphates. We are coming into the structure of organophosphates, and these organophosphates, all these organophosphates are esters of phosphoric acid. Ester means it's a bond of acid and an alcohol, and the acid is nothing but phosphoric acid. And we have six subclasses of organophosphates, or six subgroups of organophosphates based on the structure. The first one is phosphate, second one is phosphorothioates. Thio in chemistry denotes for which atom, which molecule? Thio means sulfur. Yes. Phosphorothioates, that means it have a sulfur molecule. So that's why these molecules are having acaricidal property. You might be remembering wettable sulfur. We usually recommend it as acaricide. So the sulfur atom present in the organophosphates gives its the acaricidal property. Then phosphorodithioates, that means it has two sulfur atoms. Then phosphorothioate, it again has sulfur. Then phosphonate, it doesn't have any sulfur, it has attached to carbon. Then phosphoroamidate, connected to nitrogen. So we will see the chemical structure of it. The first one, this is H3PO4 is phosphoric acid. You can see this is a phosphorus, it is a double bond POOH, and you can see OH. So we have the phosphoric acid is nothing but H3PO4. You can see the molecular formula H3PO4. So the phosphoric acid, it is connected to P double bond OH and two more words. It is, you learn it in the same manner because it's easy to remember. I will take this basic structure and I will modify it. So this is nothing but phosphoric acid. And for organophosphates, this core structure remains the same. That means P double bond O and O. And there will be variations happening over this hydrogen atom, this hydrogen atom, this sometimes this hydrogen atom or this complete OH may be changed, and here this oxygen also will be changed, but this double bond will always remain. This oxygen may be replaced with sulfur and all. So this core structure remains the same, and these modifications can happen to this core structure, and based on the modification we classify it into different subgroups. So if you see the general formula of an organophosphate, it looks like this: P double bond O R means this can be a substitute over here, another substitute can happen over here, another substitute can happen over here. So the basic structure of organophosphate is phosphoric acid, and the hydroxyl groups, OH groups, the H can be substituted with different alkyl or aryl groups for different molecules. Coming to the first subgroup, that is phosphate. Phosphate, it is the same thing as the general formula of organophosphate, P double bond O and O. And here there can be side chains over here. There won't be any side chains over this double bond oxygen. Here we can have, wherever we are depicted as R, we can have side chains. So phosphate, that is the basic structure of an organophosphate. Then we come to phosphorothioate. I told you thio means sulfur. So we have a sulfur atom replacing the double bond oxygen. So if a sulfur atom replaces the double bond oxygen, it becomes phosphorothioate. Then we have phosphorodithioate. Here we have a sulfur atom at the double bond position and another at oxygen, it replaces the oxygen at another position, OH position also. So we have phosphorothioate as well as phosphorodithioate. Dithioate means two sulfur atom. So the first subgroup is phosphate. It doesn't have any sulfur atom at all. Then comes phosphorothioate, where the sulfur atom is at the double bond position. Then phosphorodithioate, wherein the one sulfur atom is at the double bond position and another at the single bond position. So we see phosphoric acid, general formula of OP compound, phosphate, phosphorothioate, phosphorodithioate, then phosphorothiolate. Here thiolate means again one sulfur atom is here, but that is at the single bond position. Phosphorothioate means THIOATE. Thioate means sulfur is at the double bond position. Thiolate means at the single bond position. Then comes phosphonate. Phosphonate, the carbon atom is attached instead of sulfur. At the single bond position, we have carbon, so that is phosphonate. Then we have, if nitrogen is attached to single bond, it is phosphoroamidate. Then we have another group, phosphoroamidothioate. Amido means nitrogen at the single bond position. Thio means thioate. Thioate means sulfur at the double bond position. So try to draw the general formula of phosphoric acid. It's extremely easy. Three OH groups attached to phosphorus and one double bond oxygen group. Then that general formula of OP compound, which is similar to phosphate, P double bond OOO, and phosphorothioate means sulfur atom at double bond position. Phosphorodithioate means two sulfur atoms, one at double bond position and the other at single bond position. Phosphorothiolate means sulfur atom at the single bond position. Phosphonate means no sulfur atom but carbon atom attached to single bond. Phosphoro Phosphoroamidate means nitrogen atom attached to single bond position. Phosphoroamidothioate means amido means nitrogen atom attached to single bond position, and sulfur atom attached to it is thioate. That's why the sulfur atom is attached to double bond position. So that is with respect to the general structure and the various subgroups of organophosphates. And we will see the major insecticide belonging to these subgroups. In phosphates, we have dichlorophos, phosphamidone, monocrotophos, and tetraethyl pyrophosphate. TEP is not a pesticide used nowadays, but it was used earlier. And in the phosphate group, dichlorophos by 2020 it will be banned completely. So it won't be there in the market in 2021 onwards. Phosphamidone, monocrotophos, and TEP is completely banned. So it is not this group completely won't be available for use. Then phosphonate, we have only one, that is trichlorophon. That is mainly used for household pest management. I haven't seen trichlorophon anywhere, but I have heard about a trade name called as Dipterex, but I haven't seen any bottle of Dipterex. Nowadays, it's not seen in the registered list also. In phosphorothioate, we have several molecules. Parathion and methylparathion both are banned. Penthion, phenitrodhion, chlorpyrifos, diazinon and all are available. In Kerala, chlorpyrifos is available. Methyldamadone, it is banned in Kerala but available in other parts of the country. Quinalphos and triazophos. Quinalphos is available in Kerala, but triazophos is banned in Kerala and available in other parts of the country. And phosphorodithioate, we have phorate, which is banned in Kerala. Ethion, though not banned in Kerala, but it's not available in Kerala. It is widely used in Andhra and Karnataka. Ethion is one of the most widely consumed chemical for pest management in Chile. Malathion and dimethoate widely used in Kerala. Phosalon is not that widely used. In phosphoroamidothioate, we have acephate and methamidophos, of which acephate is used in Kerala. So these are the examples of different pesticides. Phosphorothiolate, we don't have much pesticide molecules, that's why it's not included here. So these are the examples of various pesticides. We will go into one by one. I think you can see the structure over here. Is it clear? Yes or no? The structure I have attached.
Sir.
Yes, okay. So the first one is tetraethyl pyrophosphate. I told you it is not used. See the LD50. It is one of the most toxic pesticide which was used in agriculture, and it was the first organophosphorus insecticide recommended for use in agriculture. And see the structure. See over here, P double bond O and O. So this belongs to which group? Which subgroup? Can you answer? P double bond O and O. Phosphate, yes, belongs to phosphate group. So again, it has two phosphorus. Here also P double bond O, and we have two oxygen over here. So and to the all the oxygen in the side chain, we have an ethyl group attached. So this is tetraethyl pyrophosphate. That means four ethyl group: one, two, three, and four. Four ethyl group attached to pyrophosphate. POP, that is pyrophosphate. Tetraethyl pyrophosphate. Then I told you about Schraden, a systemic insecticide that is named after Gerhard Schrader, the person who worked mostly on organophosphates. Then coming to the next one, Dichloros, I told you it will be banned in our country by December 2020. See this, P double bond O and O. This is phosphate. Here to two side chain we have methyl group, and to the other side chain we have CH double bond CCl2. That's why it is dichloros. Two chlorine atoms are there. It is having contact and fumigant action. It is rapid knockdown effect. Because of that fumigant property, it has knockdown action, and it is extremely non-persists. It hardly persists. It persists merely for about 24 hours. And the trade name is Nuvan Doom. Several trade names are available. So dichlorvos we used to recommend it earlier. We used to recommend it for vegetable pest management, because in vegetables, if you want in cowpea, bindi and all, we use have to harvest the crop every alternate day. So in that case, we have to use a pesticide which is having very short persistence. So in those cases, dichlorvos was the one, and it is having fumigant action. If so, if it is fumigant action means if it is a stem borer or a fruit borer, it will have some activity. It doesn't have any systemic property, but because of that fumigant action, it can have some impact on borers also. So that's why we used to recommend dichlorovos for the management of cashew stem and root borer, Plosidiurus ferruginous, mango stem borer, Batocera rufomaculator. So for all those cerambicid borers and all, we used to recommend dichloros. We used to dip cotton in dichlorovos solution and plug the bore holes with this dichloros in dip cotton, so that all the larvae present inside the bore holes will get killed. So that is the character of dichloros. Coming to the next one, phosphamidon. I told you about phosphamidon. It's an extremely toxic chemical, systemic insecticide, effective against sucking pests as well as major group of insecticide. Uh, See the LD50, it is extremely toxic, 17 to 30 milligram per kg, and the trade name it is known in the available at the trade name. Common trade name was dimacron. And see the structure of the phosphorus over here. P double bond O and O. So it's a phosphate again. It's a two methyl groups are attached to the two side chains, but here we have a lengthy side chain CCH3 double bond Cl C double bond O N C2H5. So that is phosphamidon. It's a slightly lengthier structure, but it is having systemic property. Coming to the next one, that is monocrotophos. Again, similar to phosphamidone, systemic in nature. LD50 is almost similar, 14 to 23 milligram per kg. Trade name is also almost similar. Nuacron. Earlier it was Dimacron. Here for monocrotophos it was Nuacron. It is having acariciidal properties also. See the structure. See the structure. You can see CH3O, that is phosphate group, OCCH3. See the difference over here. Here we have a chlorine atom in phosphamidone. Here we don't have a chlorine atom. Instead of chlorine, it is hydrogen. So that's a simple change in chlorine to hydrogen. And with respect to nitrogen, also there we had two ethyl groups. Here we have one methyl groups. So only two differences. Instead of diethyl, here there is monoethyl, and instead of chlorine we have hydrogen. So that is simple changes in the structure can have different pesticidal molecules. So that is why in the core structure of organophosphates, if it makes slight changes, it will become newer pesticide molecule. All those molecules had one or the other pesticidal activity. So we have seen in phosphates, we have seen first tetraethyl pyrophosphate, dichlorose, phosphamidone, and monocrotophos. Coming to phosphorodithione, see this structure. It is that of parathione. See this. I told you in phosphorothioate means the double bond oxygen will be substituted with a sulfur atom. So O, 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 and here double bond it will be substituted with the sulfur atom. And because of the presence of sulfur, it is having insecticidal and acaricidal property. The first example is parathione, and the structure of parathione, we have two ethyl group and have a benzene ring attached to a nitro molecule, NO2 molecule. And parathione doesn't have any systemic property. It is having contact and stomach action. Parathione, I don't haven't seen parathione anywhere. Methyl parathione I have seen, but parathione I have not seen. Parathione is extremely toxic. Earlier it was available in the trade name Paramur. The one trade name local in known in Kerala was Paramur. But in textbooks and all, I have read about a trade name called Folidol, but I haven't seen Folidol as well as Paramur. Parathione, by the time I studied agriculture, Parathione was phased out. It is extremely toxic, 3.6 to 10 milligram per kg. And one thing is, you have to remember about one term over here, that is pro-insecticide. So what happens is that once we are spraying parathione, and inside the plant system or in the insect system, this sulfur atom will be converted into, metabolized into oxygen atom, and it will become para-oxone. The entire thing remains the same, except the sulfur atom will be converted in plant system or animal system into para-oxone. Sulfur will be replaced with oxygen, and that molecule is called as para-oxone. So pro-insecticide is any molecule which is less toxic, but inside the biological system it gets converted into a more toxic compound. Usually all the pesticide gets metabolized in living body. Once it is sprayed in the plant system as well as in the animal system, it gets metabolized. And usually this metabolic pathway leads to detoxification of the molecule. That means the toxicity of the molecule decreases. But certain molecules, the metabolite, that means the resultant product after metabolism of the parent molecule, will be more toxic than the parent molecule. So if the metabolite is more toxic than the parent molecule, that type of insecticide is called as pro-insecticide, wherein the original insecticide molecule is less toxic, but the metabolic product or the conversion product is more toxic. Here, parathion is converted to paraoxone where the sulfur is replaced with oxygen and it will be extremely toxic, more toxic than parathion. So that is with respect to parathion. Then comes methyl parathion. Methyl parathion, the only difference is that here earlier in parathion it was ethoxy group C2H5O. Here two ethoxy group was the here it is methoxy. That is why it is called as methyl parathion. See, it was C2H5O C2H5O in parathion. In methyl parathion it is CH3O CH3O. The rest remains the same. The activity also remains the same, insecticidal as well as acaricicidal property, contact as well as stomach poison. Parathion as well as methyl parathion doesn't have any systemic property. LD50 also remains almost remains the same, and the trade name is metacid. This metacid was widely used in agriculture. I have also seen this metacid because metacid was widely recommended in rice for the management of rice bug. uh, it also had very offensive odor, very bad odor. Metacid methyl parathion was having very offensive odor, and farmers used to say that when methyl parathion was banned, we used to recommend other insecticides, especially pyrethroids and all for management of rice bug. And this pyrethroids doesn't have any odor, so they used to say that this methyl parathion was more effective than whatever pyrethroids we recommend, because methyl parathion had that bad smell which used to repel this rice bug. So it was very widely used. If you ask any rice farmer which was aged above 50 or 60 years, which was the pesticide which you used for management of rice bug, they will invariably tell metacid. So metacid was an extremely common trade name. It was widely used. Then comes chlorpyrifos. See this structure, the core structure P double bond S O O and O, which is the subgroup of chlorpyrifos. Which is the subgroup of chlorpyrifos. You can see the slide and type the answer. Phosphorothioate. Yes, thioate. So that is the one. Phosphorothioate. It is contact. It doesn't have any systemic property. It is contact and stomach poison. One basic advantage with respect to chlorpyrifos is that it persists in soil for 3 to 4 months. It is extremely persistent in soil. So that is why we used to recommend chlorpyrifos termite treatment. And another recommendation we used to give is for the management of soil insects. If you have any soil insect, we usually recommend chlorpyrifos because the presence of chlorine. See, you can see 3 chlorine atoms over here. The presence of chlorine makes the molecule a bit persistent in soil. So C2H5O, C2H5O, P double bond S O, and this side chain. So this is used for seed treatment. If you remember, you might have studied about treating the seeds of rice for the management of gall mitch. We used to recommend treatment of chlorpyrifos. There are several trade names. At least 100 trade names are available for chlorpyrifos, but the common trade names are dustpan, hillbend, rudder, classic, etc. The dose usually recommended is 2 to 2.5 ml per liter. So that is with respect to chlorpyrifos. The major characters are contact and stomach poison, persists in the soil, and it is used for seed treatment. Coming to phenitrathione, phenitrathione, I haven't seen phenitrathione over here, but I used to see papers with respect to the use of phenitrathione in other parts of the country. Abhishek, have you seen phenitrathione in your part in Karnataka? Yes. What is the trade name? Sumithayon. Okay. Okay. So once the lockdown is over, you can bring a bottle of it. Okay. And you can purchase it, take a bill in the name of Associate Dean College of Horticulture. and bring it over. Okay, we don't have the bottle of Entrothion over here. So sumithione and polythione is the chemicals which we use. The structure is here: methox 2 methoxy group, sulfur is phosphorothioate, and CH3NO2 with the benzene group. Doesn't have any systemic property. It is moderately toxic, 250 to 500 milligram per kg. Coming to the next one, that is phendione. Phendione also, Lebacid was a chemical. The trade name Batex and Lebacid is the Lebacid was a chemical which was available earlier in 90s and all. This Lebacid was available in Kerala, but later on Lebacid is not available. Again, Abhishek, are you using it in Karnataka? Phendione? I think it's so. Still, we see some reports wherein we have seen the use of Phendione. Basic, okay, good. Okay, we haven't seen basic. Okay, again, you can purchase that also. Okay, so I'm adding the list. Again, fendrothione and phendione, both are contact and stomach poison. It doesn't have any systemic poison. And phendione is effective against sucking pests as well as fruit flies. And another important character with respect to phendione is it is having some toxicity to birds, and hence it is used for the management of bird pests in agriculture. So it is having avicidal property. See the structure again, methoxy group. Slight difference is there with phenitrodine, that is with respect to the benzene ring. Otherwise, it remains the same. CH3 instead of NO2 group in phenitrodine, it is SCH3. So that's the only difference with respect to phendione and phenitrodine. When coming to diazinon, it was used for the management of household pests. Again, we don't see it, this diazinon in the market now. Its trade name is Basudin. It is 2-methoxy group, again sulfur, oxygen, and we have a cyclic side chain with 3 methane groups. So that is diazinon. The trade name is Basudin. Coming to the next one, quinalphos, one of the most widely used organophosphorus pesticide in agriculture in our country. It doesn't have any systemic property. It is mainly a contact pesticide, but it is having acaricidal property. So it is having insecticidal as well as acaricidal property. It is not that persistent. That's why it is recommended for the management of pests in vegetables also. It is widely recommended in vegetables. It is moderately toxic, 60 to 137 milligram per kg. So what is a subgroup? PO, P double bond SO, which is a subgroup. Phosphorothioates. Yes, again, it's phosphorothioate, 2-ethoxy group and 2 cyclic side chains. Okay, that is with respect to quinalphos. I think the trade name, I haven't given the trade name. What's the most common trade name of quinalphos? Ecalex, yes. So that's the one trade name. And next it is triazophos. Triazophos was a chemical which was widely used in rice in our state. In 2010 or something, it was banned. The trade name, most common trade name was Fosterthion, and it was having translaminar action. Translaminar action means if you spray it over the leaf surface, from the upper surface, it gets translocated to the under surface of the leaf. It doesn't get translocated over the vascular bundle, xylem and phloem vessels. It won't translocate. Once it's spread over the upper surface, it gets translocated over to the under surface. And because of that property, translaminar action, it was effective against leaf folder, because leaf folder larvae is protected inside the leaf fold. If you are using a typical contact pesticide, it doesn't have much activity on the larvae hiding inside the leaf fold. But if you are having a translaminar insecticide, if you spray it over the upper surface, it gets migrated towards the inner surface. So we will be able to control a leaf folder pest also. Triazophos is having insecticidal, acaricidal as well as nematicidal action, but Triazophos is not widely used. It is toxic to fishes. That's why it is banned in Kerala. Uh, then we have all the rice cultivation happening in lowlands, waterlogged situations. So that's why Triazophos was banned in our state. Here we have two methoxy group, sulfur, oxygen, and we have a cyclic side chain. So that is triazophos. Triazo means three nitrogen atoms. So that's why it is triazophos. Coming to the phosphorodithioate. Phosphorodithio means two sulfur atoms. One at the double bond position and another at the single bond position. The first one is phorate. Phorate was available in as Timet. One company had a trade name as Phorate itself. It is granular in nature, granular pesticide. Do anyone remember the formulation of what is the concentration of Phorate? What is the concentration of Phorate available in the market? Anyone? Have you seen the packet? Abhishek, have you seen the packet of Phorate? This Srisha, Rahul, Shika, and Sri Lakshmi may not have seen that because we don't have it. Yes. Do you remember the concentration formulation available? Yes, it is 10G. Good. It is 10G. Phorate is 10G. It is 10% granule. It was recommended as a soil insecticide, nematicide, and acaricide. We used to recommend phorate in banana. The usual recommendation was like this. Initially, 10 gram of phorate in the pit. Once we plant the banana sucker in the pit itself, we will apply 10 gram of phorate. So 10 gram of phorate in pit, it will control nematodes as well as rhizome weevil. And after 75 days, we will go for first leaf axil application of phorate. And again after 75 days, we will go for the second leaf axil application. So three applications for the for phorate. So it used to be applied in soil. We used to broadcast it in paddy fields for the management of stemper and leaf folder. It is having acaricidal properties also. It is having excellent contact, systemic, and fumigant activity. That's why if we apply phorate in the leaf axils of banana, it used to control pseudostem weevil effectively, but it used to have an offensive odor. There used to be lot of complaints during the application of phorate in banana fields. So if one farmer is cultivating banana near to a school or something, and if he apply phorate in the leaf axils of banana, there used to be news reports about 10 years back. There used to be news reports that the children fainted because of the smell of phorate emanating from the neighboring banana field. So that was the offensive odor of phorate. A person can recognize that the farmer has used phorate in his field. From a distance itself, we can recognize the smell of phorate. I traveled to Idiki in 2018 after the floods for the inspection of fields to assess the damage of 2018 floods in Idiki district. And I was traveling through cardamom plantations in Nedungandam area. And Dr. Murugan, the head of Cardamom Resource Station, Pampadumvara, was along with us in the same jeep. So once we were traveling through that cardamom plantation, I got the smell, uh, and it was extremely familiar to me, but I was unable to recognize it. Recognize. Then Dr. Murugan told, wherein it is for it is the moment I could recognize it, it is for it. So one person, if you apply for it in any field, if someone moves through the road near to that field, we will be able to recognize the smell of phorate. So that is the character of phorate. It is having contact systemic and fumigant activity. See the LD50, extremely toxic, 2 to 4 milligram per kg. So here see the structure, 2 methoxy group, 2 sulfur atom at double bond and single bond position, then CH2S, double bond O, C2H5. So that is for it. Coming to the next one, ethion. Ethion is not widely used in Kerala. I don't know why in Kerala it is not widely used, but it is one of the most widely used chemical in chilies in Andhra Pradesh. And because ethion is having excellent insecticidal and acaricidal property. As you know, what are the major sucking pests in chili? Which are the major sucking pests in chili? Mite, only mite, thrips, yes, thrips as well as mites. So if a farmer goes for the spray of ethion, it will control both thrips as well as mites. So farmers they go for ethion application in chili, and ethion is slightly persistent in environment. I told you in the characters I told characters of organose phosphate I told you it is non-persistent. It is non-persistent relative to organochlorines, but certain molecules are persistent. Ethion, it is persistent. So if you go for analysis of residues of chilies, we usually get ethion residues in chilies because ethion is slightly persistent. And the major trade name is phosmate. Abhishek, do you know any other trade name of ethion? Ethanox. Okay. Okay. I haven't heard about that. Okay. So this is one of the most widely used. Last year we had uh, a problem of an elephant death in Idiki district in Kumali area, again near the cardamom plantation, and they conducted postmortem of that elephant, and they detected ethion residues in the flesh of elephant, but the quantity was extremely low, so that thing is continuing. So that is ethion. Here you can see the structure. It is we can say if you place a mirror over here, consider this CH2 as a mirror. These two are mirror images. S P double bond S C2H5O, S P double bond S O C2H5O. So place a mirror over here. One part is a mirror image of the other side. So that is ethion. So that's with respect to ethion. Then coming to malathion, so which is the subgroup of malathion? P double bond S S, which is a subgroup. Hmm? Phosphorodithioate. Yes, it is phosphorodithioate. 2 methoxy group with the CH group attached to COOC2H5 and CH2COOC2H5. So malathion, it is a contact insecticide as well as a acaricide. It doesn't have any systemic property. It doesn't have any persistence at all. That's why we recommend malathion for the management of vegetable pests. Toxicity is also low. That's why it is having blue label 2800 milligram per kg. And again, it is a pro insecticide. And as we discussed about parathion, malathion is also converted to a more toxic malaoxone in biological system. Here there is P double bond S. Here inside the biological system, the plant and animal body, the sulfur will be converted to oxygen atom. So it will be converted to more toxic malaoxone, and the trade name is Hillmala killers. These are the trade names available in our part of the state. There are several trade names available. So malathion, it is contact and systemic, non-persistent, moderately toxic, blue labeled one, used in vegetables as well as fruits. And again, it is a pro-insecticide because malathion is less toxic compared to the metabolite that is malaoxone, which is more toxic. Coming to the next one, that is dimethoate. Again, it is one of the most widely used chemical in vegetables in our country. The trade name is Roger. The most common trade name is Roger. It is systemic in nature, which is having acariciidal properties also. So systemic insecticide as well as acaricide for both contact and stomach action. C CH3 O CH3O 2 methoxy group P double bond S CH2 CO NH CH3. So that is dimethoate. So because dimethoate because 2 methoxy group. So that is dimethoate thioate. That is why the uh, sulfur, two sulfur atom, that is dithioate. Okay, that is with respect to dimethoate, one of the most widely used chemical in our country. Next is pozzolane. Pozzolane is also widely used, not in Kerala but in other parts of the country. Pozzolane is widely used. It is having insecticidal as well as acaricidal property because of the presence of two sulfur atoms, two ethoxy groups, two sulfur atoms, CH2 and two ring structures. So that is pozzolane. The trade name is Zolone. Next, we have phosphorodithiolate. Phosphorodithiolate. Thiolate, we have sulfur at the single bond position, and we have methyl dimethyl. The trade name is Metacystox. Metacystox, till it was banned in Kerala, it was available here. If you search online again, Metacystox is available. Methyl dimethyl is available. It is a systemic insecticide which is having contact properties as well as acaricidal property. So phosphorothiolate is late LATE. Thiolate is having one example, that is methyl dimethyl, available in the trade name Metacystox, having systemic property and acaricidal property. So this doesn't have any ring structure. Two ethoxy group, then S CH2 CH2 S C2H5. It is a long side chain. Then comes phosphonate. We have trichlorophone. That is, I told you, it was used for the management of household pests such as cockroaches, crickets, bedbugs, fleas, etc. But we have more effective chemicals, pipron and all. It is more effective as a household insecticide. So it replaced trichlorophone. It is not widely used. Contact and stomach poison. It's the structure trichlorophone. Trichloro means three chlorine atoms, CCl3, CH3O, P double bond O, C. The single bond position we have C. That is why it is phosphonate, CHOH. So that is phosphonate. Then we have the last group, that is phosphoroamidothioate. See the structure. We have phosphorus with the nitrogen attached to single bond position, a sulfur attached to single bond position. So phosphorus attached to nitrogen as well as sulfur. So that's it is phosphoroamidothioate. We have acephate, acephate which is a systemic insecticide, again having contact and stomach poison, and it is a pro-insecticide of methamidophos. That means in plant system or animal system, acephate will be converted to more toxic methamidophos. So methamidophos is phytotoxic, but acephate is not at all phytotoxic. So that's why methamidophos is not at all recommended in agriculture, but acephate is recommended because acephate is not at all phytotoxic. If it's sprayed, it doesn't cause any phytotoxicity, but inside the plant system or animal system, it get converted into methamidophos, which is more toxic than acephate, and it is called as a pro-insecticide. It is moderately toxic, that's why it is having a blue label, and the LD50 is 866 to 945 milligram per kg. And the trade name is Acetaf. I think you might be remembering about the trade name Acetaf, 75% soluble powder. But now one more formulation is available in the market, that is 95% soluble granule SG formulation. The trade name is Hunk, 95% soluble granule. So a new formulation that was introduced about 5 to 6 years back. Earlier only soluble powder formulation was available. So that is with respect to acephate. Methimidofos, I told you, it is having phytotoxicity. Properties are the same, systemic insecticide with contact and stomach action. See the LD50 of methimidofos and acephate. Methimidofos is 16 to 21 milligram per kg, extremely toxic. See the acephate, the pro-insecticide of methimidofos, LD50 is 866 to 940. So that's how we utilize pro-insecticide, wherein it gets converted to a more toxic compound in the living system. So that's with respect to organophosphorus group of pesticides. Do you have any doubts?